Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. Today I want to share with you my weekly wrap-up that contains 2 weeks of reading. I didn't do a weekly wrap-up last week because I don't know why. I've decided to film something else. But I did manage to read 6 books over the past 2 weeks. And so I'm going to be talking about those 6 books and what my plans are for the next week. So the first book I finished last week was Dead Voices by Katherine Arden, the second book in the, I think it's called Small Spaces. The first one was called Small Spaces and I read that the week before. And I read this in last week and finished it quite quickly. It was a fun little book. I went into this one with my expectation altered a little bit considering how I felt about Small Spaces. And I think that was the right mindset to go into it with. I definitely enjoyed it as much as I did with the other one when I first understood how this was going to be. And this one is more of a ghost story than the other one was, and that was fun. I don't want to tell you many things about it, but it's the same characters from the first one and they are getting into new stuff. Experiences. So yeah, but it's definitely more about ghosts and stuff rather than the other one was more, it has these scarecrow things. There was some other thing that was creep, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next thing I finished was The Other People by CJ Tudor. This was one I read for the Lala's book club called the Literally Dead book club. I got this on Audible and I listened to it and it was good. It was, what's it about? This book follows this man. He is driving in a car behind this really old, dusty car, and he's super annoyed about that. But then in the rearview mirror, he sees a little girl who mouths the word "daddy" and then disappears. And that was her daughter. 3 years later, this man who lost his daughter is still not over it. Obviously, he's still obsessing over the fact that she disappeared, so he drives up and down the same street just in hope that he will find a car that looked like the one that he saw that one night. Yeah. Everyone else has seemed to lost hope in the fact that they could find him, and everyone has started seeing him as being mentally unstable and not really believing in everything that he's saying. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. I did enjoy it. Right after I finished it, I was into it. I was into the book. But now it's only a week later and I've already forgotten the majority of what happened. So I don't know if it's one that is good when you read it, but it's quite forgettable. So I gave it 4 stars, but I don't know if I want to lower my rating a little bit because right now I can't remember why I gave it a 4 stars. And not a 3 stars or less. It wasn't as good as I was thinking it's going to be. And I guess, I don't know. I just wanted to really enjoy this one and I didn't. I will have to wait and see what other people think of this because I'm not sure. Maybe I'll remember things better when I join the live show thing that's going to be for this book. We will see. The next one that I finished is a book that I've been working on for a while, and that is Lethal White by Robert Galbraith, also known as J.K. Rowling. This is the 4th book in the Cormoran Strike series. This is one of my 2 yarn wrappings. It is 650 pages long. It's a really, really long book. And I wasn't super excited about this because it's been so long since the 3rd book, Career of Evil, was released. And I gave that one 4 stars, I remember. And until now. And then people started talking about it, how much they enjoyed it, especially the Robin part. Because Robin had such a big part of this, and Robin is one of my favorite characters from this series. So I was finally looking forward to actually reading it. And I was looking forward to listening to the audiobook because everyone has been raving about how good the narrator is. And I don't have anything against the narrator, he did a fine job. But this was, in my opinion, a little drawn out. There are definitely parts and elements of this that I loved to bits. And Robin is my favorite character, and she had such a big part of it. All the things that she's going through in this one is heartbreaking in places, and however, I kept thinking over the book that she spent too much time. I don't know if I should say this because I guess it could be spoilery to some if they haven't read the other books. But by the end of the third book, Robin is getting married. And in the beginning of the first book, that marriage has just, like, the service has just been gone through, and she's annoyed with her husband already. Matthew is a terrible person, we know this, but she still marries him. And it takes her, like, I would say, this much of the book to finally realize that she should just divorce him and not deal with him any longer, because he's a terrible person. I think even maybe longer than that. And it just took so much time with that, and it annoyed me. So that definitely dragged it down. The mystery itself I was not into at all, so that also dragged it down. I think I gave this one 4 stars too, because I just wanted to like it. But I'm also thinking now if I should lower that to a 3 stars. I do really like Robin, and I do really like Strike. But the mystery of this one was boring, not something I was interested in at all. And all of the time this spent, especially Robin spent thinking about how she was hating on her husband, and but it was not okay for her to divorce him, and how would her family look at her, and it just annoyed me how much time was spent on that. So, I don't know, maybe a 3 stars for this one as well. The next thing that I finished over the past week was The Wicked King by Holly Black, the sequel to Cruel Prince. This is nominated in the Booktubesff SFF Awards under the YA category, and everyone is raving about this book being so superior to the first one and having the biggest mind-blowing plot twist towards the end. And to me, when I read it, I was most just annoyed with our main character. She did a lot of things where I was like, yeah, that was kind of dumb and not really thought out, and she doesn't really learn from all of the things that she does. Holly Black's writing is also not something that I really enjoy. And people are being so shocked about the ending, and I guess I can understand it if you haven't heard anyone talk about the fact that there is a big plot twist towards the end, and that could be shocking. But to me, when things evolved the way they did, and nothing of the last things that happened, like towards the end, I was like, yeah, there's only one thing that could happen that could make people react like this, and then this thing happened. It just seems so weird that everyone is obsessing over this big plot twist that no one sees coming, and I'm like, yeah, I saw it. And it's just so annoying when that happens, and I really don't understand why this is so hyped. And I want to be in on the loop, but I am not. So I think I gave this one 3 stars as well, because it was not because I hated the story, it's just that it was just mediocre. So 3 stars. I feel like this has been a quite low reading period for me. And I realized yesterday I haven't read anything this year, mostly that I rated 5 stars. So yeah, I'm hoping things will change soon, because I really want to read that incredibly amazing book. The next 2 books I did enjoy, and the first one is a reread, but I still give it 4 stars, and that is Vampire Academy. I was not sure if I was going to give it 4 stars, and when I started reading it, I was like, oh my god, the language that Rose uses is so obnoxious, stupid. Like, the Vampire Academy series is following Rose Hathaway, who is a Dampier, and Dampiers are half vampire, half humans, and they are set in the world to protect the Moroi vampires. And Moroi vampires are sort of these vampires. They have magical abilities, they live off blood, obviously, but they're not super strong. So they need some sort of protection from the humans, and all of the vampires' magical abilities is centered around one of the elements. So either fire, water, earth. What am I missing? Ice? Fire, water, earth. Ice. And so then there's also spirit, but spirit is completely forgotten in this world because no one really gets it. And it's but then our main character's best friend Lissa is a Moroi, and the one she's decided to protect, and it turns out that she has these mental powers. She's able to make people do things, and she can heal and all of those things. That is very much because of the spirit magic thing. But everyone just believes that she doesn't have any magical powers, that she just haven't chosen one because it's always one of the 4 other elements. Anyway, Lissa and Rose has escaped the academy at one point because there was something that happened that made them really, really scared of being there. And so they escaped and have been living in secret different places around. But then in the beginning of this book, they are found and taken back to the academy. And Rose is sort of getting into this sort of detention thing where she's not allowed to leave her room unless it's for classes or for practice. And she has to get extra practice in order to catch up to all of the other novices on the school, because she is very, she's not as strong, she's not as far ahead as everyone else. So the one who's going to practice with her is Dimitri, who becomes this love interest. And a lot of people would think that I would hate this relationship. And usually I hate these tropes. But it takes so much time before anything happens around the romantic part that it's not something that bothers me as much. Like in the beginning, she's just fascinated by the fact that he is so strong and he is so determined and he is so it's more of a fascination than it is a crush, and then it becomes a crush the more she gets to know him. But they don't do anything about it, except there's this thing that happens. I won't talk about it. And he's like 7 years older than her. So in terms of if they had been later, it would have been a problem at all. This age gap is not that big of a deal. But right now it is, because she's only like 17 and he's like 25 or something like that, in that area. And while Rose's language bothered me, the way that she talked to other people, the way that she saw other people, unless it was Lissa, was bothering me. But I think that she changed already through this one quite a bit. Lissa is a really annoying character as well. I didn't really like her, but I also think she changes a lot. And so you would think, why would I give it 4 stars if I really was annoyed with so many things? There are so many things that this does well. Like, I really enjoy the world. I really enjoy the way that she talks about, there's this, it's called Vladimir. And Vladimir is this ancient prophet type person. And there's a lot of history, world building stuff about him. And being shadow kissed, that is super important already later, and that was super interesting also rereading this and finding out about it. And I like Rose's friendship she has with some of the other characters and novices in this one, and Christian is also really, really interesting, and I already saw that in this one as well. So because of those things, I just really enjoyed it. I was like rereading, I mean, it's not perfect, but I was comfortable while I was reading it and I knew what I was getting into. So yeah, but it was weird reading this and knowing the plot twist and who was behind everything. But it was also fun rereading it in some way. The last thing that I read was The Last Continent by Terry Pratchett. This is the 22nd Discworld book. It is the one of the books, I think book 6 or something in the Rincewind series. And Rincewind is a wizard and with a pointy hat, and he has a luggage that has legs and walks around and is conscious and stuff. He gets into some stuff, and yeah, it's kind of, it was really a fun read, this one. I think that the Rincewind novel seems to have more of a silly tone to the humor than the other series. I don't know why that is. But I feel like the humor in a lot of the other series is a little bit more clever. And maybe that is why I don't tend to love the Rincewind book as much. Not that I don't like silly humor. That can be fun sometimes. And in this one, the silly humor actually really worked for me. There are so many times that like Rincewind was drunk, and it was kind of fun. And he was just saying that he was not drunk at all, like denying. And there were a lot of places where I was like laughing. So yeah, it always gets to me in a way. And it's definitely one of my favorites of the Rincewind books, so it should be honored for that. But I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was definitely an enjoyable read, and I will recommend it. And I think the thing is, even though the mediocre and lower standard type books from Pratchett, they're still really good, and you always get something out of them. So even if I don't love all of them and I don't give all of them 5 stars, I wouldn't have been without reading them, because they always offer something to me, and there's always one scene or another that I remember and I will just love it forever. Like even Eric, which is one of my least favorite Pratchett books, it's just a short little one, but it has like one of the best opening scenes in a Discworld novel, I remember. So that is the last thing that I finished. Now let's talk about the things that I'm currently working on. The first thing I'm working on is Platform 7 by Louise Doughty. I actually have to, this expires from my overdrive in tomorrow and somewhere around the evening time. This morning when I was reading it, it said 1 day and 22 hours. So I figure I need to finish it pretty soon. I'm about halfway through it now. This one, I'm really enjoying the writing. I'm not sure what's gonna happen right now. We're getting some backstory about this person we're seeing it from. It is a story about this girl who is... we start seeing this, we're at this Platform 7. There's a man alone, and when there's this cargo train coming in, he jumps in front of the train. And it is our main character is a ghost, who sees this, is a ghost, and she is all about trying to stop him from doing it, but she can't do anything about it because she can't say anything, she can't touch him. And then there's this guy coming in who witnesses this happening, trying to save him, but then instead like gets into like helping the stuff, and she becomes sort of obsessed with him and is now following him around. But right now we're seeing a backstory from before our main character was also run over by the train, because that's the thing is that she experienced the same exact things 18 months prior to this incident happening at the station, Platform 7. So what is up with that? Why is that happened? She believes there's something more to it. She wants people to solve this. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to explain, but I'm liking the writing. I'm not sure where this is going, and I'm not sure exactly what my feeling is about it, but I'm interested in reading on in it, so it's not like a bad book or anything. Another book that I am currently reading is Thinner by Stephen King. I'm about halfway through this one, and I'm definitely enjoying it. It's one of my favorite Richelle Bachman novels, so that is saying something. It's way better than the previous 2 that I've read, so I hope that it stays in that path. This one is about this man who starts to lose insane amount of weight, and he can't explain why. He keeps trying to eat more and eat more and eat more, and every week he drops like a lot of pounds, more than what is humanly possible. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely interesting, and I am looking forward to how this one is going to be ending. Those are the only 2 books that I have started and I haven't finished yet. The next books that I'm planning on finishing, or the books that I'm starting on picking up this week, I have 2 books for the Booktubesff Awards, and I have one for the classics part. The first one is Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I have next week off, so I decided to pick up the book where I have the largest book to read. This is almost 500 pages, and so I thought I wanted to start this tomorrow. When I finish platform 7, I will start on this one. And the other one that I would like to start is Dandelion Vine by Ray Bradbury, which I will listen to and sort of mark a couple of things throughout it as I'm reading it for my classics project. And if I have time, I will try and read something in, what's it called? Jonathan Strange and Mr. Orwell. I still have like 300 pages left, so yeah. But it's only if I have time, because right now my priorities are the Booktubesff awards and my actual physical TBR. But if I have time this week, I'll try and pick it up. I also have To Be Taught If Fortunate by Baker Chambers on my TBR, because it's a really short ebook. And tomorrow I have to go with my sister to the dentist, depending on whether I'm done with platform 7. I will read that one. Because she is going to the dentist, I have to drive her there, because it's like 25 minutes away. She has to go to the dentist appointment, and she's going to get aesthesia. I don't know what it's called. She's not used to getting any drugs to help her when she's at the dentist, so she doesn't want to have to drive home afterwards by herself. So I'm going with her because I have the days off anyway, and I could spend some time with her. As she's at the dentist, as I'm waiting around, I could totally read that book if I finished platform 7. Otherwise, I'll pick it up over the week. So those are my plans for next week. Let me know in the comments down below what you've been reading recently. Have you read any of the books that I've been talking about today? What were your thoughts on them? What are you planning on reading over the next coming weeks? Also let me know about that, or let me know what you're currently reading. I'm always interested. I know there's a lot of people who's going to be participating in the backlist readathon next week, which sounds exciting, but I have a very strict TBR this month, so I'm sort of dedicated to focus on those books. I am actually currently vlogging. I hope that I will post something by the end of the week that will be useful, because I haven't vlogged in a while. But yeah, this was it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye!